Welcome to In Edina, a program about the people, places, and activities all in the city of Edina. I'm your host, Lillian McDonald. We bring you this broadcast from Edina's beautiful Centennial Lakes Outdoor Amphitheater, home of this fall's Fall into the Arts Festival. And joining us first, two longtime Edina residents, both gentlemen very active in our community, the former Rotary Club president, Lloyd Pearson, and also former mayor, Jim Van Valkenburg. Welcome very much to In Edina. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it. Now, I know you like the arts, but you're here to talk about a different subject today, something that's not too popular, but because of your program and your good work, we have a stronger community in the world of crime prevention, right? It's the Crime Fund origin, and it's how the residents and businesses come together, raise some money that helps improve the safety of our community. Lloyd, let's get started. The whole idea got started way back in 1969.
Right.
There was a situation where a longtime resident, somebody came in, burglared his home, and he was beaten and he actually died. And it was an unsolved crime. Is that correct?
Correct. Right.
And an upstanding member of the community, an interim pastor?
Yes. Let me honest, he'd worked for the YMCA for 35 years. 32 in Illinois, 3 years in Edina. He was interim pastor at Christ Presbyterian, but full-time for the YMCA.
And so someone broke into his home. He was the happenstance of a
He came
horrible
back
crime.
at noon to his home, and he
Middle of the day.
Middle of the day. He normally left the garage door up, and it was down. He went in. There were two men there, and he said to them, "What's going on?" And they said, "Well, we were service people." They were called, and he went back outside, and he thought about it in the driveway. He said he hadn't called anyone. Wife hadn't said anything. He went back in, and that's when they attacked him with a pipe and beat him.
Wow.
He lived 4 days in the hospital. Police were able to interview him. Then he died, unfortunately.
So the police got some information to help solve the crime. They did the best they could, but unfortunately they weren't able to solve the crime.
I understand that they had two suspects, but they didn't have any funds to buy some information that could have solved it.
Enter Rotary.
And so then our Rotary Club got involved, and we were blessed with the membership of Warren Hyde, the city manager, and Wayne Bennett, the police chief at the time, and they were very instrumental in helping get this fund started.
So for those that don't know the Rotary Club, they take on a cause, usually every year, and it's something that members can become active and help support financially. Give just that little extra boost that organizations need to help them advance their causes.
Right.
And so you took on Lead's situation and decided that we needed to have some money. Now, Jim, the reason why is because there's some limits to what safety can afford to do. And there's some extra little treats and toys, as we like to call them, that help solve crimes.
Well, we furnish a lot of toys for the police department now, but you couldn't. The law says that the city cannot offer rewards and so on. So we in effect step into that hole there and try to help the department. We've bought them cameras for the parks to catch vandals out there. We've got them canine dogs. We've given them motorcycles and all kinds. I call them
In
toys.
fact, surveillance cameras help keep an eye on parks just like this one.
Right.
And you've noticed that crime has actually gone down in parks because of increased security through cameras.
Yes, it has.
So these are bells and whistles that tax dollars can't always take the entire cost of, right?
Right.
So Rotary Club comes in and you raise money for these bells and whistles, if you will.
Right. We had a series of lunches, and Jim Curry, who was one of the developers of Pentagon Park, wonderful presenter, he and I would host lunches at Edina Country Club. We had 17 civic organizations.
Wow.
And they all ended up supporting it. We had brochures and a packet of information that we gave to them.
So this is a deal for civic organizations. Businesses can actually get involved here.
Yes, but it's an advantage apparently for large businesses. At the time, Dayton's and Southdale were strong. and Southdale still strong, they could have a civic organization offer the reward rather than themselves.
And then that way it's a community focus.
Yeah.
And
Right.
it helps everybody. Well, we wish the funds would have solved Led's crime. His murder remains a mystery to this day, but his loss has helped solve so many other crimes and helped crime prevention in the area. Thank you both so much for joining us on this program, and thanks so much for your good work on the Crime Fund.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Edina Crime Prevention Fund helps pay for services both behind the scenes and on the scenes, keeping us all safe in the city of Edina. And joining us to talk about some of the programs that are paid for from the Edina Crime Prevention Fund are Deputy Police Chief Jeff Long and also Vice President of the Board, John Barnett. Thanks so much for joining us, gentlemen.
Thank you.
We
Great to be
appreciate
here.
it. Let's talk a little bit about the fund. We know that you raise some funds because you need a few extras to keep things strong, and new programs help us as well in the community stay safe. For instance, let's start with just the bike patrol. How many bikes and do they really work is a question I've always wondered.
The Bike Patrol is a great program. We have 6 bikes, and we have about 12 officers that are trained on how to ride the bike in an urban environment so they don't crash or get hurt. But some amazing arrests are made from the bikes because you're able to access areas that traditional police cars can't go. We're able to get into the park system, we're able to get into neighborhoods quietly, and we're able to, lack of a better term, sneak around and find things that are going on. We've made DWI arrests, narcotics arrests, underage drinking arrests, and burglary arrests, all from officers riding their bikes.
And it's a stretch in a regular police department budget to afford a bike patrol. So the board, John, comes up with the funds and makes some diligent decisions on how to fund it. And the bike patrol is one of the programs.
Right. Well, Deputy Chief Long and Chief Satari are on our board, and so we get together about every 60 days and meet, and we have a board of about 15 people from various walks of life, past FBI people, business leaders in the community. Mary Brindle, City Council members on our board, and Scott Hausch is on our board. To name a few, Brad Beard from Fairview Southdale. But so we have a good collection of people that get together, and we kind of really talk to the police about what their needs are, what they don't have in their budget, where we could best utilize the funds, get the most out of them, and the bike patrol was right at the top of the list.
And canine, you have 2 canine dogs, right?
Yes. We have 2 canine dogs, Diesel and Kodiak, and the Crime Fund supplements all expenses beyond their regular salary.
Which add up.
Yep,
you
it
know,
adds up. It
vet
covers all their
bills.
training, vet bills,
Yeah.
their certifications. Anything that is beyond their regular salary, the crime prevention picks up the entire fund.
Crime
Okay.
prevention specialist.
Right. Yep.
And,
Again,
and that's a human being who's out there too. A lot of face-to-face contact with people in the community.
yes, this is a position within the police department, again, completely funded by the Crime Fund, that goes out in the community, that talks about how to prevent crime. They do home security surveys and things of that such.
And it's important to, obviously, the active board helps guide how the dollars are spent. It's a bona fide nonprofit organization as well, with community interests in mind. And you also start them off at a very young age, the junior police in particular.
Yes. Yeah, the Junior Police is a program where we go into the elementary schools and introduce the police officers on a more friendly basis, not enforcement oriented. We teach them about street safety and how to stay safe, and it's just a great program to get the police in the schools and get the kids to know the police and trust the police.
John, some of the funds are dedicated to a reward to solve a crime. How do you decide what amounts, or how is that decided as a group?
Well, we have as a board, we've put in place a dollar limit that we leave open to Deputy Chief Long and Chief Satari. I mean, they are on the front, so they can make this decision as to where they see it needed. I mean, you'd be surprised what $100 could do,
Yeah.
just a small reward, but the information that you get from people, and so they really make that decision as to how much the reward is. We had one recently in town here. We had a rash of burglaries this past year up in the Morningside area, and a reward was given. I don't recall what the dollar amount was, but I mean, it was
Small
$2,000 or
enough to make a
$3,000.
difference, but big
Yeah.
enough to make a big difference.
Yeah, it was it made people pay attention. Not
Yeah.
that they weren't paying attention, but I think just having that reward money is it's a great catalyst for catching people.
And it's worthwhile. Beyond the Badge is a new project now that you're also funding. What is that about?
Well, Beyond the Badge is a new television program here in Edina that can be seen on Channel 16. It's just going to showcase some of the things the police department is doing, maybe some of the things the community is not familiar with or didn't know that we did, such as bike patrol and other things. And we just think it's going to be a great opportunity for us to connect with the community.
So it's going to be a chance for us to take a look at your work behind the scenes.
Right.
Nice.
Yep. Correct.
Okay, good. John, how do we get involved? Whether we want to fund, pitch some ideas, or learn more about some of these programs?
Well, our website would be a great way to learn more about the Edina Crime Prevention Fund. And as far as us raising funds, we typically send out a letter in the fall and in the spring to our residents. And the generosity of the residents of this town is remarkable. People send us funds, and they know that it's important work that we do. And they have a history of doing it for the last 30 years. And it's pretty remarkable. It's neat to be a part of this town.
Well, it's wonderful. And the programs like K9, Bike Patrol, Junior Police, Beyond the Badge, and all the other programs are testaments to the work. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us on Edina.
Thanks for having us.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Coming up, some safety tips that will make things better for you at home and at work. The Crime Fund also helps fund crime prevention, a specialist willing to come to your home or office and make sure everything is nice and safe. Joining us, Amy Granis, the city's crime prevention specialist. Welcome to Edina.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Appreciate having you. It's all about outreach. It's all about knowing who your neighbors are, knowing who you work next to, and you have 3 in particular programs that helps bring people together. Let's talk about those. First, the Neighbors Home Watch program. What is it?
It's a program that neighborhoods get together and they do one annual meeting and they invite the police department there, and we come in and we talk about different topics such as residential security, identity theft, that type of information, and it is a fantastic way to get to know your neighbors and to get to know the police department.
It's kind of like coming together over a cup of coffee. You get to know folks. There's some requirements. You need a membership list. You want to know who everybody is in your neighborhood and how to get a hold of them. Any other requirements?
Yes, you do have to meet annually, so once a year you have to meet, and you do have to have a member of the police department there, which is great. And you also just have to keep current on what's kind of going on in your area. We have a great website that you can monitor the crime and all the statistics in your area. We want people to be educated and know what's going on.
And that's important to know. And new neighbors who move in, if they jump in on night to unite, they have a chance to meet everybody. How does that work?
It's the first Tuesday. It happens once a year in August, and people get together and they plan block parties. And what they do is they register with the police department, and we go to the parties, and we just kind of encourage them to turn off your lights, get out of your house, enjoy the summer weather, and that. And again, it's another community development. You get to know your neighbors more. You get to know the police department. It's a great way to, again, build that relationship up.
Now, a program people can take advantage of is security surveys, and that's where residents or businesses can have you come and check out our places to be sure that they are safe. What do you look for?
First we start at the front of the house. We look at the house numbers. We want to make sure you can see them from the street. So if you had a medical emergency or any type of emergency to your house, the police can get there as fast as possible. We check out your deadbolts. We make sure that you have at least a 1-inch throw on your door. It makes your door so much secure if that really goes into your frame. We like to recommend motion lights. Motion lights are a great, cost-effective way of protecting your house. Light is a fantastic deterrent for criminals. We also recommend if people are going on vacation, they're going to be gone for a certain period of time, we want them to cancel the newspapers from showing up. If you have a bunch of newspapers on the front, it looks like you're not home. We also recommend putting lights and radio on a timer so it gives the appearance that someone is home and awake.
And that's where neighbors can come in too, because if you let your neighbors, someone you trust, know, hey, I'm out of town, keep an eye on the house, they're going to know what to look for. If something isn't right, they're going to be able to report that to police. And the surveys are nice because you have it all written down, it costs nothing, and you have an opportunity to get ahead of crime before you can become a victim of a crime.
Absolutely. I mean, your neighbors are the best tool that you have. Your neighbors know who is supposed to be in your neighborhood. You know, you call the police department anytime you see anything, but if an officer drives to your neighborhood, they might not know who's not supposed to be there. So your neighbors are your best tools for crime prevention.
Yeah, Amy, thank you so much for joining us on Edina and for all the work you do to help keep every one of us in the city nice and safe.
Great. Thanks very much.
Fall into the Arts Festival will definitely have plenty of things for you to see and do. And to tell us about everything, Executive Director Karen Knudsen, thanks for joining us on In Edina.
Thanks so much for having me.
It is such an exciting event. You have dozens of artists who bring all kinds of wares for people to show and tell.
Yes, we have try to have as big a variety as we can within the categories. We have beautiful glitzy jewelry and cozy wearable art and holiday
Sculptures,
gifts, holiday
glass,
gifts, everything.
Metals,
painting,
woods.
printmaking, just go on and
The
on.
list is endless.
Yeah.
What about 225 or so artists
Yes.
coming?
Yeah.
How do you pick them?
Well, one thing that's really nice about our show is the artists love doing the show, and so they bring in more artists, and we are certainly glad to have their recommendations. We do have an application process. We can't take everyone, but we try to jury to have the most variety and to try to have a wide variety of price points too.
So this year, Fall into the Arts Festival, September 12th and 13th, right?
Yes.
Okay. 10 to 6 on Saturday and
Yes.
10 to 5 on Sunday.
Absolutely.
And it's a free event.
It's a free event and lots of free parking. We have more than 6,000 parking spaces right around the park here, so it's great.
And it draws quite a crowd. More than 20,000 folks walk through here.
Yeah. People really look forward to it and enjoy it.
And there's food and entertainment. What can we look forward to?
Oh, well, we have in the Edina Art Center's Tavern on the Lake, which is in the Centrum building, we have entertainment and we have wine, beer, beverages.
And
those
plenty
kinds
to
of
eat,
things.
no doubt.
Well, and we have food vendors all throughout the show.
So when you get hungry taking a look at the art, your appetite will be filled, and then you can look at more art, which stretches all the way from behind the medical building you're saying,
Yes,
and now
north
all
end.
the way out for blocks throughout the park.
goes all along the pathway, and then it ends up in the upper level deck parking in front of the Centennial Lakes Office Park. So it's a easy walk, lots of places to sit down and enjoy the views, and lots of nice artists to visit.
And it's a rain or shine event.
Rain or shine. Last year we did rain. This year we're hoping to do shine.
I'm sure it'll be nice. Now, artists, when you go and you stop and you see and you meet an artist, you get to see their work. And you can also buy it on site.
Can.
And some of them allow you to customize it, right?
Some artists take custom orders, or if, for instance, you want to buy some jewelry, they'll size it for you right on site there, and you can visit with the artists about their work, or you can talk to them about what you might like to get done for yourself.
That's what I enjoy, is talking to the artists, because
Yeah.
you really get a sense of their passion.
Yes.
And some of them will actually do art on site too.
Yes.
And so for those of us who are not artistically skilled, we have an opportunity to just see how pottery is handled, how painting takes place.
A lot of the artists are doing demonstrations on site, painters, potters. Someone was doing needle-wool felting or something. I'm not even sure what it is, but she'd written on there that's what she's
Something
doing.
for
So,
everyone. Indoor
something.
decor you're talking about.
Yeah, you know, with the fall and winter entertaining season coming on, maybe something to spruce up your home, your office, your business place, or the cabin. All kinds of opportunities to do that. But you can still find garden art and outdoor art at this show
Now,
too.
this is the 7th year for the festival?
It is. Yeah, we've really grown. We're more than twice as big as when we started that very first year.
Wonderful. And one more time, September 12th and 13th.
Yes.
Free event.
Yes.
Come enjoy.
Yes.
10 to 6 on Saturday, 10 to 5 on Sunday. And if you want to take a sneak peek at the artist, go to the city website, right?
Yes, you can either go to the Fall into the Arts Festival website, or the Centennial Lakes Park website has it posted too.
Wonderful. So check out who's going to be here in
Yes.
advance, so you are sure to see everybody along the way.
Yes.
Karen, thank you so much for joining
Oh,
us.
thanks
on
for
Edina.
having us. This is wonderful.
We really, really appreciate it.
Good.
We have an opportunity to talk to one of the artists who loves coming to this event, and he will be here a little bit later in the show. Find out how he takes nature and turns it into picture-perfect art. With dozens of artists presenting their work at the Edina Arts Festival, it's hard to see it all, but take your time and walk through, and be sure you stop by and see Steve Benson's work welcome to Edina.
Thank you.
Photographer, this is your 5th year presenting?
Yes.
Why do you like the arts fair?
Well, it's such a wonderful setting. It's down away from traffic, on the walkway. People are relaxed. It's the time of year when people have come back from summer vacations, the kids are in school, and it's kind of a beginning of the fall.
And its setting is really cool.
It is nice.
And it's perfect for you because you like nature.
It is.
As
yes,
a photographer,
Yes.
that is your focus point.
Yes.
Well, show us some of your work that we might be able to see. You've got several pieces to show us, and one of them is absolutely fabulous.
Well, the large piece is the large panoramic image. I took that in Grand Portage, Minnesota. I have a panoramic camera that takes, I'm still working in film, but it takes large format. It's 120 film, and the camera actually the lens rotates so that it gets an even exposure across the entire picture.
Now, this particular shot at Grand Portage, the orange is really magnificent.
That's the lichen that grows on the rocks, and you can't see it unless you get up really close, but there's bluebells that grow in between all the cracks in the rocks.
That's magnificent.
So-
What time of year is this shot?
This is probably in mid-June, and at that time of year, that far north and that far east in the time zone, that's the sun rises before 5 a.m. With that shot. So I have a similar shot that is taken right at sunset, the sunrise rather, and it's just a totally different coloration
Wow.
for that particular shot.
So that's a shot you sit for a long time before
You
you
have
get
to
it.
be up in the dark, out there early, be all set up and ready to take
That's your
whatever
job.
happens.
We get to admire it, right?
Well, yes.
You brought a couple of other pieces too, and it's really interesting how you choose your subjects. You just get up and start?
Well, I think it depends on, you have to be ready with cameras and go to nice places, which I've been fortunate enough to do. This particular shot is in Grand Teton National Park. They're reconstructing and preserving these Mormon barns and villages that are just off of Antelope Flats. And it just was a morning shot when the sun was on the Tetons and everything was just really nice.
Absolutely perfect. It almost looks like an oil painting. These shots are just absolutely gorgeous. And this is beautiful too, different time of day.
This is late afternoon. This one is taken in Redwood National Park in Northern California. And the road that you see is the original Pacific Coast Highway, now a maintenance road, but it's also a biking, hiking trail. And 800 feet below this is the Pacific Ocean. So in the late afternoon, the fog comes in off of the ocean and gives an actual ambiance to the shot that's unusual.
Wow, patience is really key. How long do you think you sit on average for just that perfect shot?
Well, you have to wait for sun, wait for clouds, wait for the right setting. You have to do a little prior preparation mentally to kind of say this is where
So it's
I'd
hard to
wanna
know
be.
how long it's going to be. You just say, honey, I'm going to go out and take some pictures today. It could be a while.
And you just have to say this is the moment and
This is the
be
shot.
be ready and take
Wow.
shots.
You also will take time and turn your beautiful photography into cards.
These shots are actually photographs put into blank greeting cards, and I use a lot of the same panoramic scenes and the scenes that you saw, but also include flowers, Lake Harriet, local scenes, things that would be of interest to people.
Wonderful. Steve, I can't wait to see everything coming up at the Edina Arts Fair in September. Congratulations on your good work.
Thank you.
Continue your patience, and you've got quite a photographer's eye. Well done.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this broadcast from Centennial Lakes Park Amphitheater, and take some time and enjoy the Fall into the Arts Festival, September 12th and 13th. We'd like to thank all of our guests for joining us for this broadcast, and to you for watching. I'm your host, Lillian McDonald. Until next time, thanks for watching In Edina. Make it a great day.